Welcome to the Living the Dream podcast with Curveball. If you believe, you can achieve. Welcome to the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast, a show where I interview guests that teach, motivate, and inspire. Today, we're going to be talking about experiential learning, as I am joined by Larry Easto. Larry has over 40 years in the professional services. He has a lot of experience in it. You know, he's things like a writer, lawyer, consultant, and he teaches his clients experiential learning. So we're going to be talking to him about all that he's been doing in his 40 years of service and what experiential learning is. So Larry, thank you so much for joining me today.
My pleasure. Happy to be here.
Why don't you start off by telling everybody a little bit about yourself?
Wow, that's a tall order. I've done a lot of things in my life. I'm not one of those people who at age 7 had a vision of what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So I like to think of myself in some respects as the master of default decisions. I did a lot of things because by default, not because I wanted them, because they seemed right at the time. So I've had a ton of experiences. I went to university. I trained as a lawyer. I practiced law. I left law. I worked as a consultant. I wrote a book. I did some training and development and coaching. And now I'm back writing again. So I think that, as one of my friends says, when I grow up, I think I'll be a writer. And this is what I enjoy doing most. And also helping people learn. I guess one of my consulting projects, we were designing a training manual, and I wound up taking a course in experiential learning, and this was a turning point. And thought, okay, yeah, it makes sense. We all hear that experience is a great teacher, but who teaches us how do we know how to learn from experience? So that's what I learned there, and that's what I'm more than happy to talk about.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Tell us what experiential learning is.
Experiential learning is based on actually taking a look at experiences, taking a look at what happened, what went into the event, reflecting on it, what conclusion can we draw from it, and how can we apply this in our ordinary life. So instead of just, that was an interesting experience, it's kind of a proactive thing. This is what happened, and really think about. Now that's really interesting. What did I learn from there? How can I apply that again? How can I do that for other people? So it's really instead of just ignoring experiences once they've taken place, it's just pausing and reflecting on it and trying to pull a lesson from them.
Okay, well, let's talk about professional services. For those who might not know, explain what professional services is and how, someone in the professional services business can market their services.
Well, professional services could range from high-end medical, legal kinds of things to tradespeople. They're all professional. Professional is anyone that gets paid for their service. So that's a huge range. I've narrowed my scope to service providers, self-employed service providers who want to make a difference in other people's lives. These would be coaches, consultants, mentors, therapists, those kinds of folks. And I included myself in that category. I'm an entrepreneur by default. I ran my own law practice because I didn't think that the lawyers I was working for really cared enough about the clients, and I didn't think the clients were getting the kind of service they needed and deserved. So I started my own law practice in order that I could really help clients make a difference in their lives. So starting from there, those of us who are really interested in helping clients make a difference in their lives really don't have too much of a business background. In my case, if I'd wanted to run a business, I would have gone to business school. I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I did other things, wound up in law, fairly good as a lawyer, not so good as a business person. So I had to learn how to run a business, run a professional service business, and learn how to market the services. And that's the big one, because marketing professional services is not like marketing a can of soup or a box of dog food. It's you're marketing your own personal attributes, your own skills, your own abilities. So it's a totally different kind of business than selling cucumbers or selling potato chips.
Okay, well, what's one of the ways, you can attract in the service business more and better clients and take your business to the next level?
Well, it starts out with with identifying first of all who you are. What are you really good at? I mean, if you're really good at helping people understand their personal problems, you're probably not going to be selling or promoting technological solutions or financial solutions. So you start out with what am I really good at? And then the second element is who are the kinds of people that need this service? So you really identify your service, how you match it to what the clients want. And then it gets to the interesting marketing stage. Instead of doing what half the world is telling us we should be doing, the best thing is to attract clients the same way we make friends. And how do we do that? By being ourselves, by being our true, authentic selves. No lying, no exaggeration, no trying to be somebody else, no trying to do something else. It's all about being your true, authentic self. So you wind up building relationships with potentially ideal clients. And these relationships with potentially ideal clients turn into relationships with real clients. And this results in more repeat business and more referral business. So it's all about being yourself and treating clients as friends, treating clients the same way you would friends.
Okay, well, I know in your bio you talk about the law of attraction. So explain to us in your words what the law of attraction is and how it can help people.
Oh, that's a great question. The law of attraction happens all the time, but we're not really aware of it. The law of attraction really has a couple of key components. One is deciding clearly what you want. If you want a whole bunch of clients, you don't say, "Oh, I want a whole bunch of clients." You say, "I want 10 clients." And instead of saying just, "I want 10 good clients," you want 10 clients who need this kind of service or prepared to pay this much money and those kinds of attributes. So it's being very, very, very clear on what you want. Once you're clear on what you want, the next step is to take inspired action. Just instead of wishing, it's doing something. And a story about what inspired action is. My father used to tell this story that two girls were running to school, and on the way to school, the school bell started to ring. And one girl said to the other, "Let's stop and pray so we can so that we're not late for school." And the other girl said, "No, no, let's pray while we're running. That way we can get there on time." So that's inspired action, praying while they were running. So in order to get the law of attraction working, we have to do something more than same old, same old. We have to apply our best stuff and do something really worthwhile, something out of the ordinary. And once this happens, it just things unfold like crazy. And law of attraction is one of those things that from my own experience, everything becomes clearer and easier as I take action. So instead of sitting around wondering about what I'm doing, do something. Get a plan to do something, and it starts to unfold. I've simplified it terribly, but it's an amazing process to work. It's the strategic planning process on steroids. It can be just so incredibly powerful.
All right, well, tell us about your writings. I know you're a writer as well, so kind of give us a brief description of your writings and where we can get them and what we can expect when we read them.
Sure. Okay. My current book is a book called How to Succeed in Your Professional Service Business book. And this is interesting because it started out as a marketing manual for professionals, just reflecting back to what I said about professionals having trouble with marketing. I wanted to write a book that helped self-employed service professionals market their services. But when I got into the book, I realized, well, since their personality and who they are is so much a part of their business and their service, you can't separate it. So by improving themselves as people, they also improve their business. So what it resulted was a book that helps us come up with the supportive mindsets that support us as we take actions to attract clients. I think there's two chapters on law of attraction. There really goes into detail of how to do it. So the book will take somebody from, yeah, I want to run my business, but I'm not too sure how to go about doing it, on through to the point that they have clients they're serving, and they've got a plan in place, and they're doing what they want to do. Happily, the book is available on Amazon and all the sites now. But yeah, that's what it's all about. It was a fun book to write. One of the things I really enjoyed about it was telling stories. Every chapter has a life story in it, in which the ideas or the concepts or something like that, people actually apply the concept, and there's a story, and the story is followed for questions that people can apply other people's experience to learn for themselves. So it was kind of a fun book to write, and I think it's a fun book to work through, because it allows people to really learn from what they're doing and build on it.
Okay, well, give us some best practice tips on how, people can maintain a healthy work-life balance.
Well, the difficult answer is that we have 9 environments that we work in, from finance to health to spirituality, all those kinds of things. I think the key, though, is to make sure that our body, mind, and spirit are all aligned. And what that means is doing being engaged in work that is meaningful and gives us a sense of purpose, a sense of reason why we're here, something we feel good about, something that really, at the end of the day, we can say, wow, we really did something worthwhile. That's the head part of it. And certainly, yeah, running a business is pretty tiring, so we've got to maintain good health. And that goes without saying. And the last one is the spirit of the soul. Any professional service that involves helping people make a difference or improve their lives, the spirit or the soul has to be part of it. Now, whether somebody believes in God or a power greater than themselves, it really doesn't matter what label they put on it. But we need the universe. We need sources other than ourselves to help make things work. And that's especially true of the law of attraction. People who spend a lot of time in law of attraction, they talk about deciding what you want, deciding, the kinds of things you want, and then putting it out to the universe so the universe can deliver what you've asked for. So I think the short answer is to make sure the body, mind, and spirit are aligned. And that happens as a result of a fairly detailed, fairly careful planning process. But it more often than not it will generate great results.
Tell us about any upcoming projects that you're working on that listeners need to be aware of.
Okay, I actually wrote 2 books. One book was the book that's published now, and the other one was a book called Transformation Connection: how to get from where you are to where you want to be. And I realized that there was a lot of overlap there, that said things in one book that were echoed in another book. So I'm thinking, this is not such a good idea. So what I decided to do was to take the best of both books and put it into a video course. So I'm in the timing is perfect. I'm halfway through designing a video course that's a transformation course, basically help readers get from where they are to where they want to be. And it starts out talking about change and how difficult it is to make change, offers some suggestions for making change. And it turns out that the chapter that I wrote this morning was all about visualizing what you want to have, be, and do. So I'm kind of excited about this, because it's totally experiential learner. Somebody can sit down with this course, work through the course, and turn their life around. So I'm kind of excited about that. It's a biggie. It's going to be 12 lessons, I guess. That's on track to be released early January. So if somebody's listening to this now, listening to this in 2024, this case of stay tuned, it's coming. If you're listening to it in 2025, it's already available on my website. So, but that's pretty exciting. To me, it's part of my legacy project. I've done a lot. I've had a lot of really fantastic experiences, and so I'm pulling together a lot of my experiences in the book and in the course. So it's gratifying for me to have 2 vehicles that I can use to share some of my experiences with others. I've always believed that a good experience gets even better when it's shared, and I have the good fortune of being able to share some pretty amazing experiences.
Speaking of your website, throw out your contact info so listeners can check it out, keep up what you're up to.
Okay. I've got a website. The website is larryeasto.com. And what I've done on the website, instead of just dump a whole bunch more information, I've set it up as a process to help individuals or help readers identify one thing they can do. I'm a big fan of doing one thing at a time. So the first page says, if you want to grow your business, or if you want to grow your business, check here. If you want to break through in marketing, go here. If you want to learn more about marketing, go here. Oh, and here's the biggie. At the end, I've got a thank you gift for people who listen to the podcast. The thank you gift until the end of 2024 is a book, one of my books, 26 Ways for Professionals to Get New Business. And then that's a thank you gift just for listening in. It's just 26 ways to get new business. Starting in January. Oh yeah, and there's also until the end of December, I've got 6 video courses that are 50% off to help people with planning their 2025 year, and there's 2 services that are available to help plan the 2025 year. In 2025, there'll be the new course that I talked about, and there'll be another new free gift dealing with transformation. So 2025, there'll be the courses, the new course, and 2 thank you gifts. And it's larryeasto.com.
All right, close us out with some final thoughts. Maybe if there was something I forgot to talk about that you would like to touch on, or any final thoughts you have for the listeners.
Yeah, it's I'm finding this as I'm doing these podcasts, that not only am I sharing my information, but I'm learning things along the way. So even though ostensibly I'm passing on some of my thoughts and sharing some of my ideas, I'm learning so much from hosts like you who are asking questions and forcing me to not forcing, but encouraging me to think of things in a different way. So I think the key is that we got to keep learning. We got to keep our minds open and keep learning, because otherwise we're going to get stuck. We're going to get stuck big time in the way things used to be, and the way things used to be are not the way they are now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, LarryEasto.com. Check him out. Check out his books and everything that he's up to. Please be sure to follow, rate, review, share this episode to as many people as possible. Jump on your favorite podcast app. Leave us a follow. Check out the show. Review it. Share it. If you have any guests or suggestion topics, Curtis Jackson 1978 at att.net is the place to send them. Thank you for listening and supporting the show. Larry, thank you for all that you do for the world to make it a better place, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me. Enjoy your day.
For more information on the Living the Dream podcast, visit www.djcurveball.com. Until next time, stay focused on living the dream.